Hey, it's Casey Orr and Sean Whitfield, and we're keeping you up to speed on iTruckTV.com. It was the first race in the second round of the chase, the contender round, and we were going to Kansas. Well, we knew two things. Number one, somebody was going to win this race, automatically clinch into the next round, and he would not have to worry about racing in Talladega. The second thing we knew is that anything could happen, and boy, did anything happen. Joey Logano goes to victory lane, an impressive win for the number 22, but the biggest story are the guys that didn't do so well. I'm talking about Brad Keselowski, Jimmie Johnson, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., the three at the bottom of the standings when we left Kansas.
That's right. We saw all three of those drivers go from the top down to the bottom. They both cut tires during the race at Kansas, ended up in the wall, and fell back to the very back of the pack in the results. We also saw Kevin Harvick, which has been a strong contender all season long. He led about 61 laps at the race at Kansas, ended up with a pit stop due to some damage on the race car, and ended up in 12th position. So we did, Casey, we saw a lot of top contenders fall to the back of the pack in this week's driver standings.
Yes, the standings have been completely shaken up, but hats off to Joey Logano. He did lead 122 laps, led the one that mattered, that being the last one. And so a guy that was now won 5 races this year, he's won 2 races in the chase, and now with his win, he is guaranteed a spot in the eliminator round, which is going to be the top 8 drivers, and probably most importantly, he can breathe a sigh of relief when we head to Talladega, because there's going to be a lot, especially now, a lot of nervous drivers when we get there.
Of course, let's get into the results of the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway. And as we've been talking here, Joey Logano won that race, his 8th victory in his in his career out of 213 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series races. This is his 5th victory and 19th top 10 finish in 2014. This is his first victory and 3rd top 10 finish in 11 races at Kansas Speedway. Kyle Larson came in 2nd, posted his first top 10 finish in 2 races of his career at Kansas Speedway. It is his 15th top 10 finish in 2014, and of course he was our highest finishing rookie for the weekend. Kyle Busch came in 3rd, posted his 3rd top 10 finish in 15 races at Kansas. In 4th spot is Martin Truex Jr., 5th is Carl Edwards, 6th Ryan Newman, 7th Denny Hamlin, 8th rookie driver Austin Dillon, 9th Paul Menard, and 10th Brian Vickers.
Other chase drivers, 12th Kevin Harvick, 13th Matt Kenseth, and 14th Jeff Gordon. Casey Kane, not a very good run. He ends up finishing 22nd, but Sean, this is where the real damage was done. 36th Brad Keselowski, 39th Dale Earnhardt Jr., and 40th Jimmie Johnson. Now, Brad, he looked pretty good, blew a tire. Jimmie was off all day. But Sean, Dale Earnhardt Jr. led 45 laps, blew a tire, and finished 39.
Of course, we must have a Danica moment. Danica started 29th, ended up in the top 20, finishing in 16th position. There were 8 caution flags for 34 laps and 25 lead changes among 9 drivers.
We had several drivers say that Kansas really could be a wild card, but I kind of thought they were paying lip service to this thing because Kansas is a 1.5-mile track. We kind of know what we're getting into. We know what we're getting into, Charlotte. I think we all assumed Talladega was going to be the race you had to worry about. But Sean, the drivers were right. Kansas has turned the standings on its head, and now we have a lot of nervous drivers going into Charlotte knowing they've got to perform well because anything can and will happen at Talladega. I think the first major race in this chase that has shown us just what can happen was this weekend at Kansas.
Of course, I want to give you some Chase Facts update. Of course, right now we're in the contender round. We have 2 races to go. Charlotte coming up this weekend, Talladega after that. We have 2 races, 12 drivers. Then we have the eliminator round, 3 races and 8 drivers, and that begins on October the 26th at Martinsville. Texas, and then Phoenix. Then coming up for the final race of the season, we have the Sprint Cup Championship. One race, 4 drivers going for it all. Right now in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver standings, we got Joey Logano leading 6 points ahead of second place Kyle Busch. Third is Carl Edwards. Fourth, Ryan Newman. And fifth, Denny Hamlin.
6th spot, Kevin Harvick. 7th, Matt Kenseth. 8th, Jeff Gordon. 9th, Casey Kane. 10th, Brad Keselowski. 11th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And 12th, Jimmy Johnson. 3 Hendrick drivers in the bottom 4.
Of course, coming up this weekend, we have the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Race number 5 of the chase, race number 31 of the 2014 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. And you'll be able to catch that on ABC coming up Saturday evening at 7 p.m. Of course, join Casey Orr and myself, Sean Whitfield, each and every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for Valvoline Racing Radio on Rock 105. You can also find us on iHeartRadio.
That does it for this week's Up to Speed on iTruckTV.com.
Right here on the NASCAR Update at iTruck TV, where Sean and I keep you up to speed.